My name's Craig Fehrman, and I wrote Author-in-Chief, the untold story of our presidents and the books they wrote. The book did take me 10 years to finish, and I don't think that was anybody's plan. That certainly wasn't my family's plan, certainly wasn't my editor's plan. But I'm somebody who gets really obsessed about topics, and finding new things is really important to me, and I think that makes the writing better. And a lot of people who like to read history have read, 5 books about John F. Kennedy already, or 5 books about Ulysses S. Grant. I promise you that there will be new material in here that you haven't seen in those other books. It just took me 10 years to find it. So it was a lot of going to presidential libraries. It was a lot of going to regular research libraries, a lot of just digging into really good work by professors. There's been so much good scholarship just about books and how the book trade worked. And I wanted my book to be a book for book lovers. So not just what did Thomas Jefferson like to read, but what did the inside of a bookstore feel like when Thomas Jefferson was alive? And so that might only be a paragraph in the book, but I had to read a lot of books to be able to have the information for that. But then I could be like, there were quill pens, there was stationery for sale, which is kind of funny because today independent bookstores always sell that stuff, which helps them, balance their sheets because there's a bigger markup on that. Well, that was true in 1785 too. So it's fun to see those kinds of parallels and those kinds of connections. And there's a lot of them in my book. It just took a lot of time to find them. I wrote this book because I'm a president's person. I'm a historian, but I'm also a books person. I'm one of those kids who grew up reading books and loving books, and I just love that this book allowed me to connect the two things that I'm so passionate about. And I really hope it's a book that will appeal not just to people who like history, but people who like literary history and literature too. There were just so many fun moments that somebody writing about Teddy Roosevelt's attitudes towards imperialism, that's a great and important book, but are they going to be able to put in the anecdote where Edith Wharton shows up in the White House and Teddy Roosevelt stops everything and starts hollering literary questions at her? No, but I could put that in there, and I was thrilled to put that in there because I love that anecdote, and I think that tells you something about Edith Wharton, and it tells you something about Teddy Roosevelt, and it tells you something about what it means to be a reader. And so this book mattered to me because it was a way to fuse things I care about, like democracy and voting and history, but also by putting in a literary spin on it. And honestly, literature has always been an important part of those processes too, so it felt like a really organic fit.